Every woman has a secret. She doesn't give herself to the man who wants her the most. She gives herself to the man who understands her without asking, who touches her soul before he ever reaches for her skin. And sometimes all it takes is one conversation, one gaze, one moment where she feels so deeply seen, she forgets to guard herself. That's when the rules disappear. That's when desire takes the lead. So here's the thing. There's a secret that most men miss when it comes to intimacy with women. It's not about money. It's not about looks. It's not even about what you say. It's about how you make her feel in the moment. You see, a woman will give you her body when she feels emotionally safe, mentally stimulated, and energetically aligned with you. And if you can master these three things, she won't feel like she's being seduced. She'll feel like she's freeing herself with you. Let's be real. Women are not as complicated as people make them seem. We're not waiting for someone to have it all figured out. We're waiting for someone to make us feel something real. That same day intimacy, it's not about being manipulative. It's about being so in tune with her energy that her walls come down not because you broke through them, but because she wanted to open them for you. Start by listening, not just with your ears, but with your presence. Is she guarded? Is she nervous? Or is she letting herself slowly lean into you moment by moment? The man who knows how to pay attention will always stand out. And please understand this. It's not just about being charming or funny. It's about creating a vibe where she feels like she can be herself without judgment. That's when her feminine energy begins to rise. That's when she becomes curious about who you are, not just what you want. There's a powerful moment that happens when a woman says to herself, "This man sees me." And in that moment, she starts to trust you. She starts to desire you, not because you convinced her, but because she chose you. Now, here's where most men get it wrong. They rush. They try to get to the physical without first establishing the emotional rhythm. But the truth is, if you want to connect with a woman that deeply, that quickly, you have to let her feel like time disappears around you. Talk to her like she's the only person in the room. Look at her like her existence matters. Touch her energy before you ever touch her body. And when she feels emotionally touched, everything else becomes a natural extension of that intimacy. Yes, same-day chemistry is real, but it's not something you chase. It's something you allow. And the more you learn how to create emotional space, the more women will want to bring their entire selves into that space with you. Body, mind, and soul. So here's the thing. There's a secret that most men miss when it comes to intimacy with women. It's not about money. It's not about looks. It's not even about what you say. It's about how you make her feel in the moment. You can have the best pickup lines, the flashiest car, or a gym body that looks like it belongs in a magazine, but none of that will matter if the energy you bring into a woman's space is off. Women are emotional creatures. We live through how we feel. Every word, every glance, every touch. If it doesn't align with how we feel, it doesn't land. And that's why so many men are confused. They think it's about saying the right thing, but she's already made up her mind based on how you made her feel in the first 5 minutes. If she feels safe, if she feels seen, if she feels respected, then she will open up. But if your energy is off, if you're too aggressive or too eager or trying too hard to impress, she'll sense it instantly. You don't need to be rich to make a woman melt. You need to be present. You need to make her feel like in that moment, she's the most important person in the world. Women crave that kind of attention, not attention rooted in desperation, but attention rooted in grounded confidence. When you speak to her, are you rushing through your words just to get to the next move? Or are you truly there, taking in every detail of her presence, allowing the conversation to breathe, letting her feel that she can take her time with you, that emotional stillness is rare. And trust me, women notice it. That's the difference between the man who's trying to get something and the man who's simply being. When a woman feels that you're not in a hurry, that you're not trying to push or persuade, she naturally leans in. Her guard drops, not because you broke through it, but because she feels comfortable enough to take it down herself. That's the art most men don't even know exists. She wants to feel like she chose to give you access to her world, not that you found a shortcut. It's never about fast moves. It's about deep presence. You can sit across from her at a coffee shop, and if your presence is deep enough, if your words are real enough, if your eye contact doesn't flinch and your spirit doesn't beg, she'll remember that moment for a long time. Women are not as complicated as people make them seem. We're not out here waiting for perfect men. We're waiting for real men. Men who can sit in silence and not feel awkward. Men who can ask deep questions and actually care about the answers. Men who aren't trying to impress, but to connect. That connection is what makes her want to be close to you. That connection is what makes her say yes to things even she didn't plan for. Because in the end, women don't give themselves to men they don't feel emotionally safe with. And emotional safety isn't about being soft. It's about being secure. It's about holding space. It's about being emotionally clean and energetically attractive in a way that doesn't shout, but hums quietly and powerfully beneath the surface. You see, a woman will give you her body when she feels emotionally safe, mentally stimulated, and energetically aligned with you. And this has nothing to do with manipulation or tricks. It has everything to do with connection. The kind of connection where she doesn't feel like she's being convinced, but like she's discovering you and discovering parts of herself she didn't even know existed. Emotional safety is not something you can fake. It's something you create with consistency, with integrity, and with subtle emotional intelligence. She needs to feel that if she lets go, if she lets her feminine side open up, she won't be judged, used, or left hanging with regret. That emotional permission is what unlocks physical permission. And you can't force it. It has to be allowed. The truth is, intimacy for a woman isn't just about physical pleasure. It's about mental surrender. She wants to be desired, yes, but more than that, she wants to feel understood, chosen, appreciated, and accepted. When a woman is mentally stimulated, she becomes intrigued. She starts seeing you not just as a man, but as a man who gets her. And in a world full of noise, where so many men are trying to impress with surface-level confidence, the one who triggers her mind will always rise above the rest. Ask her thoughtful questions. Share stories that reveal who you really are. Let her see that your depth doesn't need to be shouted. It's just there, naturally. That intellectual tension builds desire in ways that physical attraction alone never can. But it's the energetic alignment that truly seals the connection. Energy doesn't lie. Women are hypersensitive to energy. Before you even touch her, she knows if she can trust you. Before you even ask for her number, she knows whether something feels off. You don't have to say anything. You just have to show up as yourself. Grounded, clear, calm, and centered. That kind of energy is magnetic. It doesn't demand attention, it earns it effortlessly. And when your energy resonates with hers, she feels like she's coming home to something instead of falling into something risky. It's hard to explain, but easy to feel. That sense of calm confidence, that sense that you're not needing her to complete you, but that you're inviting her to share something with you. That's what opens her up. That's what makes her feel safe enough to let herself feel deeply. which is what leads to intimacy that feels natural and mutual rather than rushed or forced. This is why some men can meet a woman and share an intimate moment with her on the same day, while others chase for months and still get nowhere. It's not about how long you've known her. It's about how quickly you've made her feel emotionally centered. When you become a man who isn't just trying to get something from a woman, but who offers her something she rarely experiences, emotional connection, intellectual excitement, and energetic harmony, then the physical becomes an extension of the emotional. She doesn't need convincing. She doesn't need to be seduced. She simply follows the current that feels right. And that current is built through the way you show up, the way you make her feel about herself, and the way she feels in your presence without pressure or performance. Let's be real. Women are not as complicated as people make them seem. We're not waiting for someone to have it all figured out. We're waiting for someone to make us feel something real. And that feeling doesn't come from a man trying to impress or persuade. It comes from a man who shows up authentically, with intention, presence, and emotional awareness. Women respond to energy first, always. Before a word is spoken, before a hand is touched, before a smile is exchanged, we are reading everything you don't say. The way you carry yourself, the calm in your voice, the pause in your breath, the groundedness in your movements. That's what speaks to us. That's what lets us know whether to lean in or to protect ourselves. And the moment we feel like you're trying too hard, or like you're performing, something in us disconnects. Because what we truly desire isn't perfection, it's presence. It's the subtle emotional experience of being seen without being exposed, of being noticed without being objectified, of being drawn in without being trapped. A woman is always asking herself, even if she doesn't know it, can I relax around this man? Will I be safe if I let him in? Does he see me, or is he just trying to get something from me? And the man who understands this will approach her, not with strategies, but with sincerity. He won't rush her. He won't make her feel like she's on the clock. He'll make her feel like time slows down when they're together. That stillness, that emotional patience is rare, and it's addictive. When a woman feels like she can just be without makeup, without filters, without pretending, she begins to feel free. And a woman who feels free around you will associate you with safety. And a woman who feels safe will allow herself to feel desire without shame. You don't have to be perfect to create that space. You just have to be aware. You have to be grounded enough in your own masculine energy to not be moved by rejection, to not take everything personally, and to know that your value is not tied to whether she says yes or no. That kind of confidence is quiet but powerful, and it shows in how you listen, how you speak, how you sit in silence, and how you hold eye contact without fear or neediness. When you focus less on getting her and more on understanding her, everything changes. Suddenly the conversation becomes deeper. The energy becomes charged. The walls begin to fall, not because you tore them down, but because she's choosing to let them fall. That's the kind of intimacy that bypasses logic. She may not even understand why she's opening up to you so quickly. She might say to herself, I don't usually do this, and mean it, because it's not about how long you've known her. It's about how deeply you've met her. The emotional connection you create with a woman can fast-track everything else. And that connection doesn't start in the bedroom. It starts in the way you make her feel safe in her own skin. It starts in how you respond when she's vulnerable, how you treat her when she's guarded, how you behave when you know you don't need to prove anything. Women don't want perfect men. We want present men. We want real energy. We want the man who doesn't flinch in the face of depth and isn't afraid of emotional space. That same-day intimacy isn't about being manipulative. It's about being so in tune with her energy that her walls come down, not because you broke through them, but because she wanted to open them for you. Most men don't realize that a woman's defenses aren't always about fear of men. Sometimes they are about fear of herself, fear of what she'll feel if she actually lets go, if she actually surrenders, if she actually wants something that's right in front of her and doesn't know if it's safe to want it. And that's where you come in, not as someone who needs to convince her, but as someone who understands her, understands that every look she gives you isn't just flirtation, it's assessment. Every time she laughs at your joke or asks you a question or even pulls back a little, she's gathering information, feeling for cues. Can she trust your energy? Can she let her guard down without regretting it later? Is this going to be another man who wants her body without caring about her soul? That's what you're up against. Not competition from other men, but the emotional residue of the ones who didn't handle her heart right. So when you walk into her space with emotional intelligence, when you move with clarity and not desperation, when you speak with truth and not tactics, she notices. She may not say it, but she feels it. It's in how you give her space to speak without interrupting. It's in how your eyes don't wander when she's talking. It's in how you don't reach to touch her too soon, but instead you touch her mind, her imagination, her sense of safety. And when she starts to feel safe, when she starts to feel seen and not just scanned, she begins to soften. She may even surprise herself. Because in her mind, she may have had every intention of taking it slow, but now she's in the presence of someone who feels different, someone who sees her through layers. And there's something intoxicating about that, being seen without being stripped, being admired without being rushed, being desired without feeling like a target. That's what turns a woman on. Not the pressure, not the performance, not the scripted lines, but the presence, your presence, how you hold space for her, how you stay in the moment with her, how you make her feel like she's exactly where she's supposed to be, with no fear, no guilt, no hesitation. That emotional frequency, when it's right, makes everything else unfold naturally. Because now she's not overthinking. She's not holding back out of fear. She's leaning in because it feels right. And when it feels right, women don't need rules or timelines or permission. They need a moment that feels so aligned, so emotionally charged and energetically safe that their body simply follows their heart. You become more than a man in front of her. You become a mirror, reflecting the parts of her she's been afraid to show. And when that happens, she won't wait for a third date or some arbitrary milestone. She'll want to experience that connection fully in the now. But it only happens when the man she's with isn't pushing for it. He's simply present, grounded, emotionally aware, and quietly confident in a way that makes her want to give, not out of pressure, but out of desire. So if you want her to open up to you, mind, body, and soul, stop chasing moments and start creating energy. Be the man she feels before she touches, the one who doesn't need to ask for her because she's already chosen to give herself. Not out of pressure, not out of performance, but because in you, she found presence. And that's the real seduction.